Beach fishing basics, how I test and learn. Hi, my name's Roger Osborne, and in tonight's video, I'm fishing off the beach again, the same spot I fished last night, but I'm doing things differently. And I'm going to explain to you why I'm doing that and the benefits of that. Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, and let's get fishing. So last night I fished this spot. The baits I used were live mullet and pilchards, and I caught 5 fish in about 45-50 minutes, 3 different species. So why am I using different baits tonight in the same spot? Well, I just thought I'd make it easy on myself and get some things straight out of the freezer. So I've got some squid that I had in the freezer and also some salted frozen beach worms. So tonight I'm fishing with completely different baits. And the reason I'm doing that is because, well, they may work really well, or I may catch different species. And you don't know until you test and try. Also, I'm reasonably confident that I'm going to catch fish because, you know, all the features look pretty good for that. So I'm sure there's fish there, but I'm interested to see what will the difference be from last night to tonight when I'm using the different baits. So the first bait that I've got is some squid. Now I caught this is a squid head. There's a bit of the side flaps of the squid. This is a squid that I caught a number of months ago. It still looks in really good condition, even though it's been in the freezer for a number of months. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tentacle of squid. But what I normally do with a tentacle of squid, I like to expose the white flesh, but it's really slippery. So what I do is I chuck it in the sand. I'm just going to crumb that bit of squid like that, and then it makes it easy for me to peel the skin off. Can you see how that skin's coming off? You know, it's just really easy to peel this. You imagine trying to peel the skin off if you didn't have the sand. See, look at that. See, that just comes off really, really nicely. Gets that lovely white squid flesh. So I'm just peeling. I'm not going to peel all of it off. Just peeling a few bits of the skin off the tentacle. I'll leave a bit of it looking a la natural. So I've got my tentacle here. I've exposed some of the nice white flesh, and I'm just going to put this on a 2-hook rig. I'm going to chuck this one out as a set line, and then I'm going to hold my rod that has the frozen salted worms that I'm going to use. So where am I? Over here. So it's a very simple rig that I've got. I have a running star sinker down to a swivel, a leader with 2 hooks. It's a little bit like my deadliest rig, which has got a main hook and a stinger, or a keeper hook. So what my plan is to actually thread this on like so, and I want to pull this, leave the barb like that hanging out of the squid leg. And all I'm going to do with this hook that's hanging here is I'm just going to pin the top part of this bait like that. When I chuck this in the water, obviously all that sand will wash off and it'll just be a nice white piece of squid. So I'm going to put that out now and set that, and then I'm going to come out and bait up with my worms and hold on to that rod. Now I was here last night. Today the wind has been a lot stronger from the south. That's one of the main reasons I decided to come back here again, because the open beaches are just really messy. Really lots of white water, uncomfortable, fairly big waves. Also, the waves were bigger this morning. So I was a little bit surprised when I got down here that the waves are slightly smaller than last night, and thankfully the wind's just dropped off. But I've got the entrance of the lake here. You can see the water is coming out of the lake and it's heading into the surf just there, and my intention is to cast my baits directly behind where the lake water's running, because there's undoubtedly food that's coming out of the lake, and and it's almost 100% that there's going to be fish patrolling up and down that edge waiting for food to come out of the lake. So that was part of my strategy last night as well. The only difference is that I've got the different baits tonight. So I'm going to go for a little wander. It's actually a little bit easier than last night. The low tide is an hour later, Last night I was walking out here and getting quite wet. And I was also fishing to the right about 50 metres last night. But the reason I've moved along just a little bit is this is where all the brown water is going. That's coming out of the lake. You can see it to my left. That swirling brown water. Here's a couple of little waves. I'm not wet yet, but I'm going to jump over this one. All right, so I'm going to pelt this bit of squid behind where the water's going out. Yep, that's going to land right about where I want it to land. Beautiful. In fact, when my bait landed then, I scared a fish. I saw this fish break the surface. Now I want to get this in my rod holder and get my other rod because it'll be dark in about 30 minutes or 40 minutes. And it's only my plan to fish until dark. I'm not staying here for a long session. I'm just going to fish here for probably less than an hour. Just getting that drag about right. So we'll see if something likes that bit of squid. It's in a really good spot out there. Okay, worm time. Now I've just been thawing these worms out. You can see there's some quite big fat ones in there, look at that. And these have been salted, so I'm just going to grab a bit of this salted worm. And I'm using my classic 2-hook rig. I've got a long shank hook on the bottom. I'm used to these worms wriggling around when I put them on, when they're alive, but it's quite stiff because it's salted, which is pretty good. At least it'll stay on nicely. So I'm actually just going to break that off. Geez, it's a lot harder to break off when they're salted. Goodness me. I almost need a knife. Look at that. So tough. Okay, so that's a nice meaty worm bait. And then I'm going to whack another one on here. Just thread this bit of worm on. Really, this is a king worm. It's really big and fat. So I'm going to put that on. I've just pulled that up the line a little bit. Now I'm ready to chuck this one out. And yoo-hoo, ready to go. I'll have one line out and I can hold one. Hang on. It could be just the waves pulling my rod over there. Because every now and then you get a big set that comes through. Hang on. Is that a bite? I can see there's a couple of decent waves breaking right where my line's going, so that's going to cause a little bit of action, and there's a little bit of drift from right to left. Anyways, the squid's a pretty tough bait, so I don't have a fish on. Now, last night when I was here I caught a trevally, so I think there's a reasonably high probability that I might get more trevally. There's a lot of bait fish out there. When my bait hit the water then, little bait fish leapt out of the water everywhere as soon as my sinker hit the water, so there's obviously a lot of bait out there, which is really good. I had a lot of slack in my line then, so I've got a fish. I had to really walk back and reduce the slack in the line to be able to set the hook. So this is my frozen worm bait. So I've got a bite on the worm. We'll see what it is. Doesn't feel too bad, although everything feels big on this light beach rod. It's so much fun. So what have we got to add to our tally here? Is it Mr. Trevally like I thought? Yeah, look at that. So last night I caught a trevally. Last night I caught a trevally on pilchard. So my first fish this evening is a trevally. This one's too small, so I'm going to let him go. Just watching my other line, but because obviously the salted worms are tough, so it's still hanging on. I can see the worm on my top hook has nearly been ripped off the hook. You can see you've got the hook there and a bit of worm hanging down the bottom. So something's been biting at the top hook as well. So I'm just going to tidy these hooks up, let this guy go, and cast out again. Just going to reset this squid bait because I'd had a few nibbles on it and I want to make sure I've got plenty of bait on it. Because I only really want to fish till dark, I think I've probably only got another 20 minutes. It's very pleasant down here. One of the good things I like about winter or after daylight savings is you can go fishing and you get home and it's not too late. But in summertime when it gets dark at 8:30, 9 o'clock, you get home really late. Okay, just need to revitalise this bit of squid. Yeah, looks a little bit hacked up. I have a creature on the end. I don't know if it's an edible one or not. This is on the squid bait. Okay, well, it's interesting to see what this is. It's got a little bit of weight on it. I hope it's not a stingray or something like that. Obviously like the squid. Oh no, I don't think it is a stingray. I think it feels like it's edible. It has a little bit of fight to it. Okay, so where is it? It's nearby. Oh, it's out there. All right. All right. I can see it. It's just getting dark though. Come here, you. Yeah, I have a feeling it's one of our usual customers. It's one of our usual customers, Mr. Salmon. Well, I better get it out of the way of my other line. Okay. So last night I caught salmon on both live mullet and pilchards, and now I've just caught one on a reasonably fat one on some squid. So there you go. Squid works just as well on the salmon as the other things do. I'm just going to quickly rebait and cast it back out again. We'll see what's going on. Really slack. Like something's grabbed it and swum in with it. Don't know if it's still there, I'm just waiting. I was getting bites on this rod while I was re-throwing out that other rod with a new squid bait. So I'm getting a few bites, which is good, on both the worms and the squid. I'm just watching my other rod. I'm having a feeling that something's going on. I've just got to detect the difference between the waves and a bite. Because every now and then hang on. When I wind this, that moves. Every time I wind this, that rod goes like that. So that's telling me something. I'm obviously over my other line. And though it's dark, I can't see what's going on. Look at that wally whiting. So that whiting's taken a frozen beach worm. Not a very big whiting. Let's just have a little look at him. You can see him there. Just undersized, I'd say. Look at that, he swallowed that hook completely down his gullet. I'll have to perform an operation to get it out. Alrighty.
Look, he's getting in there.
Alright, I'm going to chuck this guy out and have a look at the other rod. Make sure it's still there. I'll hold it and see if I can feel anything. Because the waves are breaking on an angle across. So when they break, they kind of pull the line down. Oh, that's a bite. Just felt something then. Just pulled it. But one pull. Okay. It's that squiddly diddly. Come on, do something with it. Ooh. I'm just going to pull this forward a little bit. Can't quite tell what's going on. I may have something. Hang on. No. No, I don't. It's just coming in. But there's something going on out there with that squid. Probably running low. Man, the time goes so fast. I haven't been fishing for an hour, but we got here pretty much when the sun had already set. So I could have got here a little bit earlier. But, you know, it's not boring. Only landed landed 3 fish so far, a whiting, a trevally, and a salmon. My squid bait has been attacked. So I'm going to put a fresh bit on, and I think I won't be fishing too much longer after that. Maybe one more cast, and I'll head home for a nice hot cuppa or something. I've got 2 rods now. Dueling 2 rods. So yeah, I'm getting a bite on this one. Although I need to wind a bit of the line in. It's a bit slack. I'm just feeling. If I strike it... Yeah, I got a fish on this one. Now... Yeah, I got one. See what it is. Hopefully that other rod will look after itself. The beach here is very long and flat. You walk out a long way and then the waves wash a long way in. Have I still got a fish? I don't know if I've still got a fish or not. No, I don't. I had a fish, but it got off on the salted worm. Oh well, still got plenty of bait on there, so it may as well go back out. Well, the stars are out. Oh, hang on. Whoa, what was that? Yeah, I got him. Whatever it is. Something else, don't know what it is. Hang on. Do I still have it? Not huge. Can't feel it at the moment. I think it might have gotten off. That's happened a couple of times tonight. Yeah, it's not there. It is possible that I could have been bitten off by a tailor. No. Still have a mile of squid on here. So, just going to give it a couple of minutes longer. What have I got here? Do you believe that's a big whiting on squid? Look at that whiting. That's a cracking whiting. Big whiting. And it's actually taken my squid bait. So there you go. Whiting do take squid sometimes. And this is a good size one. So I knew I could feel something out there. Very good. Wow. Must have thought the squid was like a little worm, but that's a quality whiting, really good. Beautiful eating fish. So it's just gone dark. The whiting seemed to be biting. After dark. That was the case the other night when I got a couple of whiting. They both came in after dark, so it's interesting. I've actually had that happen when I used to fish at North Narrabeen a fair bit. I used to catch a lot of whiting after dark at Narrabeen. So I'll take this fella up. And I better check my other rod. So I'm actually really happy with tonight's result, using some frozen salted worms out of my freezer and a bit of squid. I caught a good sized salmon and 2 big whiting. I got 1 whiting on squid and 1 whiting on frozen salted worm. I also got 2 undersized fish, a trevally and another whiting. So I landed 5 fish, I got a few bites, only fished for a little while, and I'm going home with 3 really nice eating fish. So tonight's exercise of testing, using different baits to what I used last night. Obviously last night I didn't catch any whiting because I used live mullet and pilchards. Tonight I got 2 good whiting. I still got a salmon on the squid. So awesome result. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you're learning something. Make sure that you like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. All of those things really help my channel, and it helps me to spend more time making videos teaching you. So I look forward to seeing you very soon in the next video.